Hello internet friends. In this video I'm continuing to rivet together the left elevator. And so while I'm doing that, if you've looked at the video length, you might notice that it's pretty long. Usually I try to keep them to 5 minutes, but I just got back from AirVenture last night, so I was just going to give a review. Maybe it'll be helpful. It was my first time, so anyone that's going to go next year that wants to know what happens there, this might be good to listen to, and hopefully it's helpful. So we rented an RV. We actually flew to Milwaukee, rented a rental car, drove up to Neenach, I think that's how you say that, rented an RV, and so we had both an RV and a rental car in Camp Shoulder, and we arrived there on Sunday afternoon, which turns out is a really, really horrible time to show up. Not so much in that you're not waiting in a giant line because everyone's already checked in, but so much in that since everyone's already checked in, all the good camping spots are gone. So we drove all the way to the south end of camp, found a camping spot there, and just hung out, or parked the RV there all week. So what I didn't realize, having never been there before, is that that spot is actually about 2 miles away from the grounds. So on Monday, when we got up and wanted to go see the show, we marched the kids for 2 miles all the way over to the grounds. And luckily the kids survived, but they almost didn't survive the 2-mile march back. And after that, the kids, I think they went to the grounds one more time, but we basically got a parking pass and drove to the gray lot, I think it is. And then the rest of the week, when I was doing sessions and the kids were hanging out in the RV, my wife would just drop me off at the grounds and then pick me up over at the Red Barn, the store that's right outside the grounds for the campgrounds. So next year, I'm already planning on what to do, and definitely is going to include some kind of motorized transportation, either a bike or a one-wheel or some way. I need to get from the campground to the grounds, and if you look at this picture here, you'll see the bike parking lot / graveyard, or I don't know how everyone tells whose bike is who, but that's what it looks like from everyone trying to get from the grounds to the campgrounds and vice versa. So there's a few other things you need to know about camping in Camp Shoulder. One, bandwidth, internet. Don't plan on having it at all. After 6 a.m., basically your data does not work on your phone, and it really doesn't work until about 1 a.m. So if you need internet, you have a window from about 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. because there's about 100,000 people all trying to use the same cell point. And where this becomes a real problem is when the storm's coming in, right? And there was a big storm coming this week, and everyone was freaked out. They opened emergency centers for people to evacuate. That they're intense. They're like, oh, there's going to be 80 to 100 mile an hour winds. Like everything's going to blow away. Planes started leaving, and it was a big deal. But I had no idea how to see what was going on or what was coming our way because I didn't have any data on my phone. So next year I will definitely be bringing a ADS-B receiver so I can just get weather right off the ADS-B and make intelligent decisions based off the information that I can gather. Alright, the other important thing to know is that the EAA scheduling app completely sucks, and basically by the end of the week it completely failed. I updated it halfway through because I thought it would give me more information, but actually the information I had already downloaded on the schedule completely disappeared. So I'm sorry whoever developed that app, but it failed. It's okay. Learning experience. We'll make it better, but I actually have a suggestion, and I don't know how to get this to the EAA, but I'm going to find out, is how about we just not do an app? Like, we don't need an app. You know what I used that was the most useful thing all week? Was the paper schedule that I got at the front gate. And you know what I don't want to carry around? A piece of paper, especially when it's raining. And especially in my backpack when there's other things in there and it got all tore up by the end of the week. You know all I want is just a PDF of that schedule. because I can put it on my phone or iPad or whatever. I can open it up and it stays on the page that I left it on, right? I can even use tools to highlight things, and it's all right there. So my suggestion to the EA8 is, if there's any document that you print, just put a QR code right on the front that will let you download it with your phone. And every day, there's a newsletter that goes out. There's stacks of them that the EA drops around the grounds, where you can pick up and say, it tells all the events and what's going on and what the upcoming events are. It's like, a little newspaper. Just put a QR code on that. Then I don't have to carry it around. I can just scan it. You could probably print about a quarter of the ones that you print. And, save paper, save the world, all that. And put that money towards actually getting a 100 low lead replacement. Let's do that. Okay, another thing to note, if you're addicted to Coca-Cola products, the EAA has completely sold out as basically traders to Pepsi. So Pepsi is everything in the grounds and in the little shops. So if you want a Cherry Coke Zero, you need to go down to the gas station. Other quick note, the gas station on the southwest corner of the field of Camp Scholler, basically the BP station, they have propane, which is important to know if you have an RV generator that runs off propane, because it took me, luckily that was the first stop I made, but I was worried where I was going to find propane when I realized that there was no way for me to be able to get hookups. So another thing that I learned from this first AirVenture is, if I have an RV, make sure I have a generator that either runs on gasoline or diesel, because those are a lot easier to deal with than propane, because I basically had to drive the RV over to the gas station every day, fill up with propane, because it only had a day's worth of propane in the tank to run the AC, which, the kids were there all day during the day when I went to sessions, so it was important for them to have AC, because it's hot. Another thing to know, because it's hot, now I'm from Vegas, and I know hot, but I don't know humid. So seeing that it was only going to be 82 degrees, I was like, oh, I can handle this, but no, you can't. So another part of AirVenture is wandering around and looking at everyone's planes and taking pictures of them, which I did, specifically of everyone's trailing edge. I did. If you were parked in the 300s and you had an RV, I'd probably have a picture of your trailing edge. Just because, for selfish reasons, I need to compare my trailing edge to yours. And you know what I found out is that my trailing edges are probably okay. I mean, those planes flew there, so I know that is not perfect as my trailing edges, that it's still probably airworthy. So my point being, I was walking around taking pictures of trailing edges, and it was late afternoon, and it was just way too hot. So I gave up on after 3 rows. And I came back another morning when it was not hot and finished up looking at all the airplanes that were out in the camping area. So, plan to be outside in the morning or really late afternoon, early evening, and then you won't die of dysentery or heat exhaustion, right? That's the one. Okay, one more thing to know that I learned is that I took a camping chair, an actual large camping chair. It has a backrest and a pillow, and it's really comfortable. And I carried that around for the first day, and then I ditched it because I did not use it at all the first day. And there's chairs everywhere. That basically, if you get to a session early enough, there's a chair for you. The only place where there's probably not a chair is the air show, which you're going to want to get a seat somewhere along the runway. And it didn't work out for me to go to the air show just because I had gone to sessions all day and I was hungry and the kids weren't really interested in walking over there. So we actually went and got food. So next year I totally plan on going to the air show. But I will definitely look at some other smaller type of chair, like one of the tiny camping chairs, because that's really all I need. And I don't want to carry around a large chair. So you don't need to do that either, unless you want to sit in comfort on the runway. Then just wait till then, take your chair to the runway, watch the air show, and then it won't be a big deal to carry around all day. Okay, so here's one more tip that I noticed. So I waited until my last day to go buy souvenirs, and what I found is that all large t-shirts that were cool, right? The ones that I wanted to buy, they were pretty much sold out. Now, some of them I managed to find, like, underneath a pile, like, oh, someone missed this one, and I got a few of the ones that I wanted. But my recommendation is going to be, if you're going to buy t-shirts for souvenirs and your size large, get that the first day. Now, there is every other size available, right? Extra small, small, 3X, like all of those sizes, there were plenty of them. But large, for all the cool shirts, disappears pretty quickly. So get those the first day, don't wait. So one of the interesting parts for me was meeting the people on YouTube that I have subscribed to their videos and watched their content. I don't want to call them Vans influencers, but maybe it's kind of like that. So all of them were great people and very pleasant to interact with and talk with. But some of them, like some of the conversations were kind of transactional. Not that that's a bad thing, but people were there interested in promoting their channel rather than like trying to talk to RV people. Just a little bit. Like everyone wanted to talk about RVs and everything, but when people start saying, well, I'll get a sponsorship and blah blah blah. Like if I ever do that, just that's not my goal for this. My goal for this channel is completely selfish, because one day I'm just going to go back and watch all these videos and figure out how I got this thing built. Like that's really my goal for this channel, and if that ends up helping anybody else, then bonus, right? So if I ever start talking about sponsorships and join my premium level, just come to my house, kick me right in the balls. I think my brain will reset if you do that, and I probably need it. So yeah. The one good idea I did get from them is that I noticed, some of them wear the same shirt every time, just so people recognize who they are. I think that's a good idea. I actually purposefully do the same thing at work, because I am so bad with names and faces that I just assume that other people must be like me, and unless I actually physically write down someone's name or type it out, like that the physical action of that makes me remember. But if you just tell me what it is, I will forget it within 5 seconds. So anyway, that's why I wear the same thing. So when I go to meetings, people see me in the same clothes and remember, oh yeah, you're that guy. So that the one good idea I think I got from them is maybe I'll start wearing the same shirt in every video, and then when I go to events, I'll just wear the same shirt, and then I won't have to print a name tag like, hi, my name is Josh, and I am building an RV-14, just people know. And we can talk about RVs. Speaking of RVs, so what the show did for me is I had a goal of I needed to figure out which engine I was going to use, and then I purposely waited for AirVenture because I knew all the vendors were going to be there, and I had a secret plan that basically got crushed. Like my dream got crushed at AirVenture. It was kind of sad. To use the Continental diesel. So one day, I went straight to the Continental booth and I talked to them about, hey, I want to try to use this Continental diesel in my RV build. And they, the guys at the booth were like, talk to that dude over there. He's the dude that handles the diesels. Because apparently he's the only guy that wants to. So I talked to him, and he said, yeah, it's been troublesome trying to interact with the division of Continental that does that for reasons. But maybe we can work something out. And so anyway, that I got one part of that conversation down. The next part of that conversation was trying to figure out how to get Vans to help me. So I went over to the Vans booth to talk to Ryan Johnson, the CEO. And Ryan basically proceeded to crush my dream in about 30 seconds. I know that wasn't his goal to do that, but when there's a booth and there's 5,000 people there waiting to talk to you, you only have so much time. So he was jumping right to the point. Also, when I went to the booth, he was showing a plane to someone, and I looked at the person and I thought, is that a dude or a girl? Like, I'm not sure. And then, just when you see someone, you have to go through that recognition. And then I went promptly back to thinking about diesels. And then, basically Ryan told me that they had conversations that basically didn't go anywhere. But, he's always open to, looking towards the future. But right now, it wasn't going to be possible, and basically crushed my dream in 30 seconds. And so as I walked away, all kind of disappointed, realizing that there's really only one choice, then I realized that the person in the plane was Caitlyn Jenner. And not that I know them, just have general awareness of like who they are, but it's interesting to me that they're able to show up at, and I don't know if I'm using the right gender pronoun, but because I'm uneducated like that, but that they can show up and kind of walk around the show incognito because no one cares about TV there, and everyone's there to talk about airplanes and experience airplanes. So that was just another what's that called? Anthropology. Interesting anthropology lesson at AirVenture for me. And also probably why Ryan crushed my dream in 30 seconds because he was trying to deal with a high profile client like when I walked up and tried to make eye contact with him. Yeah, so I learned my lesson. Booths are not the place to have technical discussions. They're a place for marketing discussions, which I should already know because that's kind of my day job, but I was distracted by cool airplanes. So basically that made my decision for me. I'm going to do the IO-390. So 7 months from now when my wings get here, I'll probably order the finished kit and maybe the engine? We'll see. It depends on if I'm actually finished with the fuselage and ready to actually jump into the wings. 7 months is kind of a long time, but I think it's an attainable goal. So one of the other cool things about AirVenture is the hangars where you can walk around and talk to all the vendors and see all the new things. And I hadn't really planned on going in Hangar G, but since it's right next to the forums and I had half an hour to kill, I walked in there. And I'm glad I did because I found a thing that I desperately needed, which is a company making air conditioners. And you might not think that this is cool, but they basically can custom make it to your RV, and it actually has a fresh air intake, so you actually get cool air and not recycled cabin air. And the other cool part is that it's actually removable. So living in Vegas, I really only need air conditioning about 4 months out of the year. Like the rest of the year, if I can take off, right, I'll be in cool air. But for 4 months out of the year, it's hot. Unless even at 5 o'clock, it's like in the morning, it's 90 degrees. So it's almost impossible to fly if you take off or want to take off after that. So air conditioning will definitely be a huge help. Definitely something I want to put in the RV, but not something that I want to carry around permanently, only when I need to use it. So having a solution that's removable is exactly what I was looking for, and I'll definitely be giving them a call. And in fact, I'll put their information in the whatever YouTube comments so people can find it if they are also looking for air conditioning. So another goal I was able to accomplish was actually sitting in an RV-14. So I ordered my RV-14 without ever having sat in one or even seen one. I just watched some YouTube videos and seen other people building them, and I thought I could do that too, so I started. But I actually really wanted to sit in one and try it out. So I sat in the Vans Demonstrator, which is actually the plane I'll be flying in October when I do the training with Mike Seeger. So super excited that I was able to sit in this, and Son was able to sit in it too. So I know we both fit, and it was very comfortable, and I think I made the right choice to build the 14. One of the bummers of being there with the kids is that I wasn't able to dedicate my time to, talking to people all day and going to all the sessions. Obviously when you go with your family, you have to split time and make sure you spend time with them, because otherwise you're kind of a selfish person. So anyway, next year I think I might just go by myself so I can have all the time. because I didn't get to do all the sessions that I wanted, and a lot of the sessions are like intro to a thing, and they show you how to do something for an hour, but it's really kind of a sales pitch to go do the Sport Air workshop that's 2 days, or a week long. So I'm actually going to, I attended the electrical systems presentation, and that they have a 2-day class for electrical systems, and basically it covers every different kind of connector and how to crimp them and what wire to use and what wires not to cross and what causes electrical interference. So that's really good information that I'm very ignorant on. So I think I am going to sign up for the electrical systems workshop in November 6th to 7th in Riverside. If anyone that watches also wants to attend, that's, we can grab lunch together or whatever. So the other thing I think I'll do, but not maybe till later next year, is the Lycoming Engine School. So Lycoming has a week-long course where they, you disassemble and reassemble an engine and learn all the components. So if you Google Lycoming Engine School 2022, has all the dates for that. I think I might do one of those next year. We'll see how far I get along. Like, I definitely want to attend it before I get my engine, but I'm still a while away from that. So I probably, once I order my engine, I'll go do the class, is probably what I'll do. Alright, you made it this far. This is the longest video I've ever made, I think, but I had a lot to say and a lot to share about AirVenture. The summary is I will definitely be going to AirVenture next year. I don't know if I'll be going by myself. I don't think, unless something changes, only one of the kids is partially interested in going. And really, AirVenture isn't a place for kids. Like, all the discussions and everything are technical. There are other kids there, but there's not a lot of other kids stuff to do. There's not like a kid mingle event, right? So it's mostly a place for adults. So I think my second time, I'll probably just go by myself. Thinking about just doing Tesla camping, because I can get my Tesla to drive me over there. And it looks like it's about 27 hours, which I could probably do in about 2 days. And then I would have the motorized transportation to drive from the campground to the gray lot, and I could go any place I needed to. The other thing is they have lots of vendors like Aircraft Spruce there, and obviously, if I want to buy a 2-part epoxy system, I can't take that home with me on the airplane, but I could throw it in my car and drive home. So if there's parts there or things that I wanted to buy that were at the show, it'd be easy to throw in the car and go home. So anyway, I got a gear. I'm thinking about how to do that. But I will definitely be going next year. If you have any questions about AirVenture, feel free to put them in the comments below. I'll try to respond. Again, you have to realize my experience of AirVenture is just this one time. So, it's a very narrow view of, things to do. Things that I missed out on, there's definitely, tons of mingling that I missed out on that I want to do next year, in the beer tents and other places that people are hanging out. So, looking forward to doing that. And glad you guys made it through all this, because this was a lot for me to talk. In the next video, we'll continue riveting. So, see you then.